For more on this, we can now bring in Dr. Andrew Lebovich, research fellow with Clingendael's Conflict Research Unit, focusing on North Africa and the Sahel. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us on the program today. Now, a spokesperson for the Azawad Liberation Front, the Tuareg dominated rebel alliance, said in a Facebook post that its forces control the entire city of Kidal in the north and they're continuing operations. So, if this proves true, how serious a development is this?
Well, all of the developments today are quite serious. What we're seeing is an unprecedented set of attacks across the country, not just the seizure of Kidal, but also JNM fighters operating openly in Bamako, conducting a bombing, it seems, of the defense minister's residence. His status is unclear. So there are a range of attacks across the country at major military bases, and then, of course, this likely coordination between the FLA and the Al Qaeda affiliated JNIM, which now seems quite confirmed in Kidal and elsewhere in the north. So this is a dramatic setback for the Malian government on the one hand, but then again, a shift in the conflict that I think at this point marks really a new phase in the ongoing war and the ongoing insurgency in the Sahel.
Now, Andrew, we understand that it's several armed groups that have come together. That's something that hasn't happened before. Why are they cooperating and why attack now?
Well, there have been rumors for some time of a preparation for an attack like this. So I think it was very hard to predict that it would exactly be like this. There have been, of course, contacts and some forms of limited cooperation between the predominantly Tuareg rebel group, the FLA, and JNIM for some time. But certainly, this seems to be the time that was decided for a major push after a period of relative calm in Mali. Though again, attacks were ongoing, but after particularly the fuel blockade on Bamako last year, which threatened stability in Bamako, it seems now was deemed the most sort of advantageous time for several groups to make a major push and then see what gains they can hold from here.
Now, Andrew, Mali is no stranger to insecurity, but with this attack today, what does that say about the current security situation in the country?
Well, it certainly shows the degree to which the government and their Russian partners have struggled to exert control even around the capital. Again, JNM fighters have been operating near the capital, around the capital for some time, but this ability to operate so openly and so forcefully in Bamako, around Bamako, in Kati, in Mopti, in Severe, in Gao, in Kidal, all of this, as I said, is quite unprecedented and shows not only the difficulty in terms of the security situation for the government, but the fact that they were able to assemble so many fighters, particularly in and around Bamako and Kati, without detection from the government and without the government being able to stop them, indicates how tenuous the security situation is and how difficult it has been for the government to exert control even around the capital.
Now, Andrew, you mentioned there that the junta relies on Russian allies. It's Russian allies or Russian mercenaries from the former Wagner group that's now defunct. So, is the Ukraine war hurting that relationship?
It hasn't damaged the relationship thus far. Of course, it's hard to separate the war in Ukraine and the expansion of the Wagner Group and now Africa Corps from what's happened elsewhere in the world. But this is really, I think, what's striking is that the Russian government has maintained and even adapted this presence despite the war in Ukraine. And so it's more a statement of how important some of these security partnerships are for the Russian government in Mali, in Libya, and elsewhere.
Andrew, thank you so much for sharing your analysis with us. That's Andrew Lebovich, Research Fellow with Clingendael's Conflict Research Unit.